Content is an important part of your digital marketing strategy, and at the heart of content is your customer. So remember, we have to make sure we understand our customer from a mass market perspective. How can we talk to 10,000 people or 10 million people? We have to understand the individual as well. So we're going to be speaking to the psychological triggers of a large group of people, and we're going to be talking with empathy to one person. It essentially comes down to words, images, and video. Now, they can be on your website, they can be on social media, they can be in emails, they can be across a number of different platforms. And if you do it right, you can actually use them across all of them, like create one piece of content and use it multiple times. Now, I want to talk about consistency. Consistency is a very boring idea, but I would make the argument that even uninteresting content is better off being consistent than fascinating content that's sporadic. If you're sporadic, you are actually choosing silence the majority of the time, and then you're saying something, and then you're going back to silence. You're just not communicating with your customers consistently. Of course, really what we want is highly engaging content that's consistent as well. So when it comes to social posting, do you want to do it daily, weekly, monthly? We do it 5 times per fortnight. We post 5 times per fortnight. When it comes to emails, you want to send an email daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, etc. It doesn't really matter what it is. It'll be different for every business as long as it's consistent. Things are coming out consistently. What should the content contain? Well, there's the CCT test. It's the heart test. Go and get a scan on your heart. It says, is your heart working? Well, is your heart working with your marketing? Is what you're saying compelling? If you're not talking to these people, it's not compelling. If you're talking about yourself, or maybe you're talking about the day of the week, or it's something that's not very interesting or engaging to them, it's not compelling. Is it clear? You've got to remember that people are sitting on their phones scrolling. If it's not clear, it's going to take too much time for them to understand what it is. They're just going to scroll past, they're not going to see it. And last but definitely not least, is it true? So many half-truths and dodgy things in marketing which are setting you up for failure. If you're not Australia's best cafe, or Australia's best real estate agent, or Australia's best plumber, don't say that you are. What you're doing is you're actually creating distrust. If you say, I'm Australia's best accountant, people are actually going, well, they're not really, are they? So you're actually planting a seed of distrust in the first place. But worse, if you're over-promising in your marketing and people come and have an underwhelming experience, you're actually setting yourself up for complaints and for bad PR and bad referrals afterwards. Don't do it. Be honest. Be as honest as you can all the time. Clarity is super important. Well, the main mistakes I see is that people are saying things that are complicated, they're being confusing, and they're being vague. In our day and age where it feels like attention spans are shrinking, if you are being complicated, if you're confusing people or being vague, you are losing them. They are not engaging with your content. I often go and look at homepages of websites, and I look at the statement that's at the top. Most of the time, probably 7 out of 10 times, there's some very vague, sort of inspiring, pseudo kind of poetic statement at the top that doesn't really mean anything, and it's not clear to me what that organisation does. Don't be vague. You've got, in some cases in social media, less than a second. On a website, you've got maybe 5 to 10 seconds to convince people that what you're doing is interesting and worth their time. If you're doing any of these things, then you're failing. I think maybe one of the most powerful pieces of content is actually social proof. You want to put in place a plan for either getting consistent testimonials or case studies. If case studies are relevant for your business, having one come out a month, one every 3 months, some sort of consistent rhythm to your case studies. And if you have clients who are happy, that have enjoyed your product or service, having a process to get testimonials of them. What you do is you could put it on your different material, be it on your website or your social media. It builds trust with other people who are essentially saying, well, if they had a good experience with this business, maybe I will too. It's a wonderful thing. It's very encouraging to your team as well to get this feedback.